It's working. All right. I'm a little bit sweaty right now. All right, so everyone who's coming in, let's just get grounded for a second. That was such an exciting presentation from Kit and Rosie, and I'm really excited to take the baton from here because my presentation just carries right through from where they were on vision. So let's just all collectively close our eyes and take a deep breath in. And since we're working with the number 7, let's bring our breath to the sacred count of 7 as you inhale. And 7 as you exhale. Keep taking those long, slow, deep breaths. Just to settle our energy a bit before we take off again. All right, when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes again. And welcome so much. Thank you for being here. I'm really, really excited to present on this day, this step of the law of attraction manifestation process vision. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. All right. Are you able to see my screen? Can you just type a little? Yes. Okay. I see heads nodding. Exciting. All right. Thank you, Brian. All right. So let me just find my cursor here. One sec. No. All right. I just have to move all these little doodads out of the way. Okay. Oh, it says I am screen sharing. Okay, 1 second. Let me just try to get this going again. Get my presentation going here. All right. Okay, there we have it. All right, so this quote, I was looking for quotes to talk about this process of visioning. And a lot of them were things like, he who does not have a vision is destined to fail. And it was kind of negative. There were some other good ones too, but when I found this quote, I was like, this is the one. Because this is what I found to be one of the most important aspects of vision that makes it so meaningful a process to me. Oh, wait, resume share. It's telling me that, hold on. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm a little bit confused about screen sharing. Hold on, I see someone's chatting at me.
Lola.
It's still you. I am still sharing. Okay.
I still see it. You're doing great.
Okay. So can you see it a big picture, or is it like all the little thumbnails on the side?
You see all the thumbnails, but before we could see the big picture.
Okay, so here we are.
The big picture.
That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so as I was saying, this quote really sums up why this process of visioning is so meaningful to me, because I've come to realize that the visions that we receive and the visions that we create are nothing less than God or creator or source seeing through us, right? So the eye through which I see God is the same eye through which God sees me. My eye and God's eye are one eye, one seeing, one knowing, one love. Woo, I get tingles when I read this quote. This guy, Meister Eckhart, is a German mystic, or was a German mystic from the 13th century. Okay, so this stuff has been happening, this kind of work has been happening for so much longer than Abraham Hicks. And I love Esther and Abraham, don't get me wrong. I mean, all of the modern stuff that we're doing, the law of attraction, manifestation work, but it's really, really old, right? This idea of being inspired, right? And the root word of inspiration literally means to breathe in, right? To inspire means to breathe in life force, energy, prana, and all of the goodness that the Creator abundantly strews in our path. So I came to realize that vision is seeing with God's eye. And part of that came through my studies in yoga, where I used to study at this very old school yoga center called Shivananda Yoga Ashram, a very old school traditional Hatha yoga center. And one day I was in their bookshop. You know, it was one of these places that it was literally an ashram, and they had a bookshop and a cafe, and they had these little sort of places where the people that lived in the ashram lived. And right off of the bookshop was the cafe, and I was in there one day, like drinking some chai tea and browsing in the books. And there was a book there called Understanding Karma. And I pulled it off the shelf, and as I often do, just opened it to a page and read what was in front of me, right? That's a form of divination called bibliomancy. So I opened Understanding Karma, and I look on the page, and it said, and I mean, it like was seared into my life stream. I'll never forget this. It said, when you honor your desires, you release karma. When you resist your desires, you accumulate karma. And I was like, oh shit, right? Because I had been in the habit of completely resisting my desires and finding all the reasons why I couldn't, I shouldn't, I wasn't enough, there wasn't enough, everything. And so this line that I read from this book really started to open my eyes to listening more closely to my desires. I still didn't know that my desires were the whispers of God or the whispers of Source. That would take a lot longer for me to be able to acknowledge that. But this is how it started. And I wanted to start this presentation with this quote to affirm for all of you, those of you who fantasize and daydream, those are your visions. That is God speaking through you. And to harmonize with our visions, to allow ourselves to go in the direction of our visions, actually helps us release our karma and move onto the path of our dharma. Right? So we often hear the word karma, K-A-R-M-A, which just means action. Right? It's also, when we take that action, action can accumulate or lighten our karma. Now, dharma, D-H-A-M-A-R-M-A, dharma, is a little bit of the other side of the coin of karma. If karma is our everyday actions that we take in the material world, dharma is the greater plan that is given to us from Source. Our life imprint, our life mission, if you will, right? Like why we're here, what are we here for? So karma and dharma are always in relationship to one another. And when I read this, that quote that I mentioned about following your desires, I was definitely walking the path of karma. I was not yet walking the path of dharma. And visioning, this key step in our manifestation process, helps us get onto the path of dharma. That's why I titled this presentation, What You See is Already Coming True. And there it is, right? What you visualize is already coming true. I have come to learn that this is a truth. through my personal lived experience, because there's been times in my life, many, many years and decades, where I was manifesting from my negative projections, my negative visions. We heard that quote a few days ago, worry, I forget the exact quote, but worry is prayer for something bad to happen, or worry is reverse prayer. And I was raised in a house of worriers. My mother, God bless her, I love my mother, of course, but my mother was raised in a way that worry and fretting and worrying was just how she was raised. And I inherited that as a child and as a young adult. And I came to some uncomfortable truths about how that negative manifestation or negative visioning would actually impact my life. So I want to stop here and just tell you a little bit about myself and about my journey in the volcano. And that's me on the beach in Montezuma, Costa Rica, which is my second home. I have a home in Costa Rica, which is also my international retreat center that I'm building. And I want you guys.
There's no change in
the slide.
Yeah, there's no change in the slide.
Sorry
to interrupt.
No, thank you, Brian. Okay, let's try again. How about now? How about now? Do you guys
Yep,
see?
now it's good.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So this is me on the beach in Montezuma, Costa Rica, where I have where I bought a property that's my home and also is going to become my retreat center. I really want you guys, all of you watching this, to know that I started my volcano journey in June 2018, basically like last month, 2 years ago. It still blows my mind how much my life has transformed in 2 years. As Lauren and I were chatting during Kit and Rosie's presentation, like time, it's just, what is time, right? We bend time in the volcano because it just starts to do wild and crazy things. So right now, I'm just 2 years into my volcano journey. That's when I enrolled in my first volcano challenge. It was my first time doing a GIST challenge. It was May 2018. And I signed up for BizCraft and Coterie, and I started in June of 2018. There's people like chatting right now, and I just want to see what is being said, because every time I tell this story, I also like freak out. So let's see. Oh. All right, I'm just not going to try with the technology and doing things because it's messing up my presentation. Ah. Okay. There you are. Okay, I know I stopped sharing again. I'm really trying with this here. Okay. All right. Did the screen change? Do you see me sitting on a park bench with my dog?
No, you're still the same. Just use.
How about now?
Nope, still the same, unfortunately.
Still on that beach.
Okay, so I'm just gonna not
just use the
share
big,
the big
use
screen.
it with the slides. Use it with the slides on the side, and then you can change the slides as you go. Like,
yeah,
there you
okay.
go.
All right, cool.
We can see the other stuff, but we get to see the pictures too.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to share the big screen because I think it's just not working. So, all right. So in February of 2017, this is me in St. Petersburg, Florida. So I want to just take you guys down a little bit of before everything changed and before my life became the awesome thing that it is now. It was still pretty good, but there was definitely areas where I had a lot of pain and a lot of doubt and a lot of, yeah, I wasn't in alignment with my vision. So here I am in February 2017 at a dog beach in St. Petersburg, Florida. I came with my partner then to check this area out and knew then that I wanted to relocate. I had been living in New York City and Jersey City for all my adult life, and I was just done with the city. but I still didn't have the belief that I could do it. And I didn't really know how I could do it or what it would look like. I didn't have the vision in place yet. But I also want to take this time to tell another little story and ask you, how long have you known that the seeds of your vision are laying dormant inside of you? So what ends in the letter I and has palm trees? Anybody?
Miami?
Yes, and Hawaii, yes. And so as a child, literally, I was like 5 years old, and I remember being 5 years old and saying to myself, I want to live somewhere that ends in I, because I knew that places that end in I were warm and had palm trees. That's a 5-year-old way of looking at things. So from 5 years old, I knew that I needed to be in a tropical destination that had palm trees. And it took me a lot longer to get there, but I eventually got here. So how long have you had a knowing deep inside of you that you know is the truth, that you know is where you're supposed to be, that is a hint into that dharma of yours? Mine came when I was 5. Okay, so before I knew how to visualize, before I even understood law of attraction or any of the things that we teach in the volcano, I was instinctively doing it. This picture is from Montezuma, Costa Rica, which is just an amazing place. It's a blue zone. And blue zones are these, there's only 5 of them on planet Earth, where people live to be in their 90s and 100s, free of like diabetes and heart disease and all kinds of diseases. They just die in their sleep without having these, difficult diseases. There's also beautiful air, clean air and water. In blue zones, there's also a great balance of life between work and family and play. And I didn't know it, but Montezuma, Costa Rica is a blue zone, right? The whole Nicoya Peninsula of Costa Rica is a blue zone. And so I didn't know that the place that I was most attracted to on planet Earth was also one of these really special and magical places. So the very first time that I went to Costa Rica, I took this picture, and just like that saying in the book, Understanding Karma, this picture was seared into my mind. And somehow, every time I closed my eyes, I would just be back on that deck. And just like the presentation Kit and Rosie gave, I could feel the wind on my skin, and I could smell the moisture and the richness of the soil. And I could hear the insects and the birds, and oh, it's just even doing it now, it's like I'm back there, right? So this vision just like went into my life stream and just installed itself there. And so it planted the seed for what became possible in my life. But I didn't know that what I was doing was a magical process. I kept coming back to this vision, especially during those times when my life was difficult, when I felt stressed out, when I was just like, oh, I got to get out of the city, but I don't know how. I would just close my eyes and put myself back here. And as I did that more and more often, more and more details started to flesh out. Each year, it just kept getting better and better. I was invited back to Montezuma, Costa Rica, to the Anamaya Retreat Center where this photograph was taken, to teach. And it started with 1 retreat a year. And then it was 2 retreats a year. And then it was 2 retreats and a yoga teacher training. And it just kept getting better and better and better. So by 2015, now I was going to Costa Rica, not just for a week, but I was going for a week and teaching for a week and then staying a week or 2 later. In 2016, I was becoming the person that I'd always wanted to be. Here I am teaching yoga, holding onto an anatomy skeleton. And this picture for me was another one of these pivotal visual markers in my life when my partner took this picture. And when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, I'm a yoga teacher with an anatomy skeleton. Like, it was a really big deal to me because I had been in so many workshops where other teachers would bring out the anatomy skeleton and explain and blow my mind with their knowledge, right? And so when I saw a picture of me doing that very thing, I was just overwhelmed with gratitude, and I was so emotional because I realized I was becoming the person that I wanted to be. This is about 2016. Oh yeah, then I got hit with the reality stick. So here I am in April 2019. And you can probably read my notes down there, but I'm just going to tell you what they are, right? Around this time, there was a lot of news about yoga, right? Yoga was getting kind of that like critical mass of popularity. And there were all these articles in the New York Times about how people were getting injured doing yoga, and all these articles about yoga teachers that were getting older, and because they were teaching so much that they had to get hip replacements and knee replacements and blah, blah, blah. And I started focusing on that. And this picture is, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm in a lot of pain in this picture, a lot of physical pain and a lot of emotional pain. I had just finished doing some yoga at home. I already had pain in my knee, but I just wasn't able to admit that something was very, very wrong. And so I just kept working and working and working with the belief that if I did more, if I tried harder, if I just toughened up, that I would be able to get through it. This is obviously before I entered into the volcano because I unlearned how to do all those things through my work in the volcano. So I was leaning on the negative visioning. I was connecting to the things that I feared, the things that I didn't want, and the things that, the things that I didn't want and the things that I feared. And then boom, shakalak, my knee gave out. I tore my meniscus quite severely and had to have knee surgery. And I lost like 90% of my income overnight. And so in that previous picture of April 2018, I was teaching a lot. I was overworking for sure. And just like that, I lost about 90% of my income. And it took me 8 months before I could teach yoga again. It was pretty severe, and the recuperation took a long time, probably because I had ignored the signs for so long and just kept working and working and working. So July 2018, it was June 2018 when I started BizCraft and Coachery. So I started my BizCraft journey when I was already injured. July 2018 was when I had surgery. And so I remember Rosie was my coach, and I remember her coaching me on starting to let go of all the jobs that I had. Who out there right now listening to this presentation has like 5 or more freelance jobs? Because that was me, okay? I had 10 jobs, and all of them paid me like $15 an hour or less. It was terrible. I would take any yoga class at any studio. I would go on Craigslist and look at jobs because I would just be all the time in scarcity and wondering like, oh my God, money, right? So Rosie helped me to start to let go of things that were not in alignment with my vision. So I want to just fast forward, and I'm going to fill in some details, but to December of 2018. And this is another part of this visioning work, or part of my visioning story, is that this selfie that I took on the beach was really important because I had been in Costa Rica, right? I told you the story of how it went from like 1 week to 2 weeks to 3 weeks. Well, December 2018, I finally managed to stay for a whole year, a whole month in Costa Rica. And this picture was on the day that I had to leave. And it took me a full 30 days to actually arrive and settle down and settle into my body and just breathe. And when I realized that it took me a full 30 days in paradise to actually calm down and stop rushing and doing and going all over the place, that I made a pledge to myself. And I vividly remember that I pledged that I would live life on my own terms. I wasn't going to wait for anybody else to be ready because I was ready. I wasn't going to wait for anybody else to approve because I approved. I wasn't going to wait for anybody to say yes because I was ready to say yes. And I knew that I would leave that beach a transformed woman, that my life was going to be different from there on out. And it truly was. So I took this picture to remember, and again, to implant this vision in my mind. And I can go back to that day, that beach, and visualize everything about it, the blanket that I was laying on, the angle of the sun, to remember that in that moment, I made this pledge to myself. And now this picture is from November 2019, and I'm still doing the work all the time. My tools, some of them are community, right? Community is, I've got to say, the #1 difference in everything. I know I've shared with you a lot that I did, I don't know, 15 years of therapy, 25+ years of yoga practice, over 10 years of yoga teaching and training, self-help, oh my God, so much self-help and shelf-help, nutrition counseling, oh, you name it. I mean, everything, right? But it wasn't until I entered the volcano and I found the supportive community that things really began to shift. So some of my tools are community, vulnerability, which we really lean on as a tool here in the volcano, to be vulnerable with yourself, with your desires, your dreams, your fears. Yoga and meditation have been my cornerstones for so long. Being coachable, right? Getting coaching, play, visualization, gratitude, and surrender. So this was taken right before our last Magma in San Diego with Kim Marquez. And this was really when things started to shift. So I want to talk a little bit about one of the tools that I'm presenting during this presentation, and that's the life wheel. How smooth is your journey? All right, so if you look at this pretty colorful picture here, this is the concept of the life wheel. And the life wheel is a really simple but powerful tool to be able to assess how full and complete, how holistic is the current state of your life, right? So here, if we look at this wheel, it's got physical environment, right? Like home and where you live. So for me, this was several years ago, this was a very low score. I hated living in the city. I felt confined and tight and so dirty and noisy. So I would have rated this very low 2 years ago. Business, career, finances, health, family and friends, romance, personal growth, fun and recreation. There's a lot of different styles of wheels. I'm just giving you a couple of examples. Here's another one, different categories, right? Social, family, intellectual, right? That's really important too. What are you feeding your mind? What's your mental and intellectual development? Physical, spiritual, financial. This wheel here, it's more like an egg, right? It labels in the center your core values, and then you place all of these around the outside of it. I'm going to recommend that you do this exercise with 8 arenas or domains. And it's really interesting because right before this Attraction Activator Academy came up, this was a big topic of conversation here in my home between me and my partner, where we saw that there were a lot of people in the world that were like total 10s in maybe their physical development or their finances, but in their home life or maybe in their business or other areas, they had really low scores. And when your wheel looks like this wheel, it's going to be kind of a bumpy ride. It's still going to turn, but it's not going to be very smooth. So this is how you use a life wheel. And we are going to do this exercise in just a moment, where you decide what those 8 domains are, right? And I'm going to just give you some sample ones just for this presentation. And then on a scale of 1 to 10, you honestly assess where you are, right? In all of these different domains. So actually, we're kind of running out of time, but I'm going to, in fact, teach you how to do this instead of actually doing it, and we'll spend more time in our meditation and yoga portion. Okay, so at some point in time after this presentation, grab a piece of paper, make a big circle, and then divide that circle up into 8 domains or arenas. Definitely family, health, career, your social life, your spiritual life, right? So make those 8 different domains and then create your wheel. Make little hash marks 1 through 10, and then be honest about what is your level of satisfaction and development in each one of those domains. And you can probably get a pretty good idea of it just intuitively without doing it, and have an idea of what shape your wheel is. I want to be totally honest, my wheel is not a smooth round circle. There's areas of my life that are definitely not as developed, lived into, or satisfying as other areas of my life. But over time, my wheel has gotten much more full and smooth, and the ride of life has gotten smoother too. All right, so, oh yeah, here's the steps to create your life wheel, right? So it's great on a piece of poster board or a large piece of paper. Just make that big circle, split your circle into 8 wheels or wedges, and label those 1 to 10, and then really authentically assess yourself. Then you can also write, draw, paint, or cut out pictures that represent your dreams and put them into each one of those sections. Right, so the main objective of the wheel is to figure out if you're currently living the life that you really want to live, and what areas you need to address to be able to create the life of your dreams. The first time I did this years ago, I was amazed to see that my wheel had no roundness to it. It was very bumpy. And I'd never conceived of life this way before, but now I use this tool along with visioning all the time. When you've done this, please share your wheels in our AAA Facebook group. Let us see where you're at, and just, you know, tell us, where are you seeing opportunities for growth and for expansion, and where do you see that you're already doing really well? Yeah, Jenna, I'm going to post a template in the AAA group, or maybe I'll send it to support so they can send it out in the email wrap up of this presentation. Okay, cool. Then, right, host a Power of 8 meditation, or now I guess it's Sacred 7. Host a Sacred 7 group and speak your vision to life. And we're going to get to that in just a second. All right, here's the part that I really love. And this is to give your vision a code name. Now, you did your wheel exercise, right? And after doing that wheel exercise, you will have seen what areas of your life you've been focused on and what areas of your life you really haven't been focused on, or where you're where in your life you're employing positive manifestation and visioning, and where you're perhaps unconsciously manifesting because you're focused on what you don't want or what you don't have. And when you have an idea of what that is, you can start to turn up the volume on the domains where maybe haven't been attended to as much. And that really helps flesh out your vision. So I want to explain this code name part of it. And there should probably be a space there between code and name, but it's okay. So as many of you know, I recently moved to Tampa, Florida, and I bought my first home. Now, my partner, who I've been with for about 8 years, I wanted him to come, of course, right? But without going into massive details, I bought this house because of our different credit scores, and I knew that I would get a bigger mortgage doing it on my own. So that's what we did, but I was like, even though it's my house, like, I hope that you want to come and live with me in it. And at the time, he had a lot of doubt. And he was just like, oh, I don't know, like, what if I can't like find a job? What if I can't do this? What if I can't do that? And so he was in negative manifestation, and he was focusing on what he didn't have, what he didn't want, and fear. So I asked him if I could coach him, and he said yes. And I don't coach him very often because I found that it's pretty difficult to coach your close intimates, but he agreed. And spontaneously, intuitively, I created this technique, which I'm just going to call the code name for your vision. And I asked him to visualize the type of place that he wanted to live in. And in this, we were totally aligned because he also wanted to live in a tropical place with palm trees and warm weather. And like, we know that we have that in common, that that's something from probably lifetimes ago, that we just live in a tropical location and that's the type of people that we are. So he could see that part of it. But then the emotional component, and this is the real key, to create a vision that has the emotion that lights up the path to your Dharma. So the code name that he came up with for the place that we have now for himself, this was his vision, was Freedom Oasis, because he also, like me, was just enough with the city, with the crowds and the dirt and all that, but even that is focusing on the negative, right? So I said, all right, what do you really want? What do you really want to experience? What's the emotion that you want to experience? And he would say things like, I want to be able to go out in my backyard and grill, or I want to be able to have space. I want to be able to go out and see nature. I want to be able to take sun whenever I want to, not have to take a subway to the beach that's like 2 hours away. I want to just be able to go outside and be in nature. And as we went through this visioning exercise, he created the code name Freedom Oasis. And Freedom Oasis is exactly what we got, like to the T. I'm gonna hop ahead and show you a picture. All right, so this is the aerial real estate photo of my house, right? When I saw this thing on Zillow, I was like, oh my God, it's Freedom Oasis, right? It's like a pool and umbrellas and a big deck for yoga and all these palm trees in a beautiful, warm, tropical location. It even has a yoga studio, right? My cute little purple yoga studio. And this is 2 years after joining the volcano. So I want to teach you this code name technique. And to do that, we're going to do some yoga and some pranayama, and we're going to do some of the breaths that Rosie and Kit mentioned in their presentation right before this. So to do this, you can be seated in a chair. You don't need fancy yoga clothes or a mat or anything like that. And the first breath I'm going to teach you is Kapalabhati, which is the breath that Rosie mentioned. So Kapalabhati, as Kit said, it's a sharp exhale, like you're trying to shoot a bug out of your nose. Put your hand on your belly, just like right between your belly button and your pubic bone. And make sure you're seated well. So crown of the head over the pelvis, feet flat on the floor, knees bent 90 degrees. And you do this breath with a gentle inhale to begin. And then you focus on your exhale. The inhales are passive. It looks and sounds like this. Okay, so we're going to do a quick round of Kapalabhati. Just focus on your exhales. The inhales will happen on their own. So let's start with a deep breath in. Full exhale out. And take a half breath in and begin. Exhale, 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 exhale. You should be able to feel your belly snapping back. And then just let your belly relax. Keep your throat soft. And let's do 5 more. 4, 2, and exhale. Now take a deep breath in. And hold the breath at the top. So everybody retain your breath. If you let your breath go, take another deep breath in and hold it. Now we're going to do the pineal gland breath. Keep holding your breath and start to lift your pelvic floor up. And squeeze your jennies. Lift the pelvic floor up and exhale. Take another deep breath in and hold it. Now start to lift your genitals up and squeeze them. And start to squeeze your lower abdomen. So now you're not just lifting your pelvic floor, but you're squeezing and lifting, toning your second chakra area. Keep squeezing, hold it, hold it. Exhale, let it go. Whew. Okay, take another deep breath in and hold it at the top. And start to lift your pelvic floor, squeeze your genitals up and in. Squeeze your lower abdomen up and in, and start to squeeze around your stomach, your rib cage. Draw all of your muscles in and squeeze and hold. Keep squeezing. Let go. Whew. Take a huge breath in and hold it at the top. Now begin to lift up your genitals and squeeze them in. Squeeze and lift your lower abdomen. And start to squeeze your stomach and your upper abdomen in. Now keep squeezing up around your heart. Imagine that you're starting to pump some fluid up your spinal cord and feel it bubbling and building right around the bottom of your heart, like it's tickling the bottom of your heart. And let go. Whew. We're almost there, guys. Inhale, huge breath all the way up and hold at the top of the breath. And start to lift and squeeze the genitals. And start to lift and draw the lower abdomen in. And start to lift and draw the upper abdomen in and squeeze around the heart. Start to squeeze your chest muscles, contract them and squeeze. And as you do that, visualize light coming up your spinal column, or fluid, right? Like a milky white fluid. Yes, that's ejaculate. And start to lift that up, squeezing it. As you squeeze all of these areas, you're starting to pump that fluid up. Squeezing the chest muscles, keep holding your breath. Exhale, let it go. Okay, we've got a few more to do. Inhale, take a huge breath in. Hold it at the top and start to squeeze. Lift the pelvic floor. Lift the lower abdomen, upper abdomen. And starting to squeeze the muscles around your ribs, around your heart, around your chest. And start to squeeze your neck muscles, like literally bring your shoulders up and squeeze it all in and keep pumping that fluid up your spinal cord. You see that beautiful milky white fluid rising up. Keep squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Let go. Okay, we've got 2 more breaths. Take a huge breath in through your nose. Hold it at the top and start to lift the pelvic floor, squeeze in and start to get that milky fluid moving up your spinal cord. Squeeze the lower abdomen, upper abdomen, starting to squeeze your rib cage muscles, your intercostals, squeeze around your heart, your chest, lift your shoulders up and squeeze your throat and start to squeeze your face. Keep pumping that fluid up, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Let go. You're starting to feel things moving. I'm sweating. I don't know about you guys. All right, 1 more. This time we're going to take that fluid in the spinal cord all the way up into the center of your brain, where it's just going to explode and cascade all kinds of energy through your body. Take a huge breath in. Hold it at the top and start to lift the pelvic floor. Lift and squeeze. And squeeze the lower abdomen. Lift and squeeze upper abdomen, intercostal muscles, chest muscles, shoulder muscles, throat and neck, the face. And just squeeze everything, your entire body, from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head. Squeeze, squeeze, lifting up and in. Pump that fluid up, 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 up. Keep squeezing, keep pumping. And let it go. Now close your eyes. And connect And connect to your vision. Let whatever comes up intuitively. You may see visions related to your home. You may see visions related to your health, your intimate life, your financial life, your creative life, the work that you're meant to be doing in the world. Let it all start to flow into your brain intuitively. And as you see that vision for yourself, as you start to crystallize that vision, what is the emotion that you associate with that vision? Is it excitement? Is it freedom? Is it love? Is it completion? Is it power? What's that emotional state that you will be in when you manifest your vision? What is that emotional state? Let that come up for you. When you've got your emotional state, write it in the chat box. Joy and peace, joy. Write them in there, everybody. Love and safety, peace and freedom, peaceful and overwhelming happiness, euphoria. Ooh, euphoria, love, fulfillment, being complete. These are so beautiful. Serenity, joy, peace, and love. Okay, close your eyes. We're going to do one more pineal gland breath to get the second word of your code name. All right, everybody, get your feet flat on the floor. Sit up well, crown of the head over the pelvis. Take a huge breath in through your nose and hold it at the top. Now begin to lift up pelvic floor, squeezing up and in, all the way up. Second chakra, third chakra, fourth chakra. Feel the energy lifting, the fluid lifting up, squeezing the chest, the throat, the face, everything. Squeeze it all in, tight, tight, tight. Create a channel inside for all of your prana to shoot up into the center of the brain and deliver this message to you. Keep holding, keep squeezing, keep holding, keep squeezing, squeeze even more. Give it all you've got. Let it go. Keep your eyes closed and breathe. Now you've got your emotion word. Now that vision. What's that second word? Is it, I'm not going to give any prompts here, just let that second word come to you that encapsulates now the physical, right? The material manifestation of your vision. You've got the emotion. Now sum up what you see in that material realm, the reality, the 3D-ness of it. And when you've got your 3D word, write it in the chat box. Something tangible, right? Like mine was oasis, or actually that was Rob's. Ooh, sanctuary, forest, community, life, freedom, home. Yes, home, infinite possibilities. All right, now put your emotion word together with your 3D word and write what you have. What's your code name? Your emotion word plus your 3D word. Oh, peace beach. Ooh, I got tingles. Freedom forest. Oh my God, love sanctuary, joy garden, joy sanctuary. Oh my God, these are so good. Blissful home. Oh, beads. That landed totally. Joy life, love home, peaceful community, calm, freedom, fulfillment, paradise. Ooh. Euphoric sanctuary. Okay, so I think you guys get the picture. All right, so now you have a code name that, and this is the part that I left out when I was coaching my partner Rob around this, is that I said to him, every time that you feel that doubt, every time you're not sure that you can do this, every time that you fear that you're not enough or there's not enough or the universe isn't enough, freedom oasis. Close your eyes and just say it. Freedom oasis, freedom oasis, freedom oasis. Visualize it, see it, feel it, say it, feel it, see it over and over and over again every time that you have that doubt. And he did it, and we created it. So now you have a code name and a process, right? The code name is the trigger to the vision and to the emotional state. So every time that you need to reconnect to your vision, or just if you want to talk about it, right? You can be like, yeah, I'm creating Freedom Forest. I'm creating Euphoric Sanctuary. I'm creating peaceful community and blissful home. Oh, and peace beach. These are so, so good. Oh my God, these are so good. So, right, every time that you say this code name, you re-trigger the vision and you re-trigger the emotion. All right, so I just want to tell you guys a little bit more about how this visualization process has impacted my life, right? Because when you align with your vision, you create the pathway for the universe to work through you. So here I am in September 2019. This is me shaking hands with the previous owner of my property in a Costa Rican bar where we went after we signed all the papers. And this is a view from my deck. It's just like pure jungle. And that is the setting sun. And directly across on the other side of the deck, you can see the moon. So it's just like the most magical location. And and I want to tell you a little bit of backstory. So this picture right here on the left is my friend Wilkie, who's also the project manager of my place. Wilkie introduced me to the guy, Guido, in this picture, who I bought my house from. Now, the story of how I met Wilkie is just, I was down there. This is the December 2018 period, right? Where I was like, where I'm this person here, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm living my life for me on my terms, and that's how it's gonna happen. It was in that frame of mind that I met this person here. And he introduced me to this person here named Guido, who sold me what you see here, which is my house, right? This is the yoga deck in process, right? This is about a 400 square foot outdoor yoga deck. It's not complete yet because these are old pictures, but I own about an acre of land in Montezuma, Costa Rica. And it would not have been possible had I not been in that receptive state. And when I met Wilkie, had opened myself up to friendship and to whatever he brought into my life, I surrendered, right? I surrendered because I felt that he knew without knowing, he intuited that I was looking for a way to make my life in Costa Rica something more permanent, something bigger than just visiting and coming to teach. And one day he said to me, he's like, have you ever thought of buying a house here? And I was like, actually, I have. He was like, well, I know just the person, right? So that's how that happened. And by aligning with my vision, everything just started to move, like the pathway completely opened. And now that I'm in alignment with my vision and creating this retreat center in Costa Rica, I know that I have positively impacted the lives of so many. For instance, Wilkie has a family and children, and he's able to better provide for them because I send him money every week as my project manager. And he hires like 4 or 5 different people to work on the property. So I'm employing like 6 Costa Rican people like right now. And that fills me with an incredible sense of pride. I know that I'm helping people. And then people are coming to me like, people there, people here, that they want to be a part of the project and they want to bring this to the project and they want to bring that to the project. And the vision is just really creating itself now that I've gotten out of the way of it. So getting in alignment with your vision can really, really, getting in alignment with your vision helps you just get out of the way and let source come through and show you what the next steps are. So today I have shared with you my story of how my life just completely turbocharged once I got into the volcano and found the healing power of community and vulnerability, being seen and seeing others. I shared with you the life wheel exercise, which when I did this exercise for the first time and I saw how there were many, many domains in my life where I felt really confident and fulfilled. And then there were other domains in my life that got no attention from me, right? Like the equivalent of the dust bunnies under the bed. So doing the life wheel really helped me see what I needed to flesh out and what I needed to expand for my life to be more holistically complete. Then I shared with you guys the code name, right? And how you can do pranayama or meditation or yoga and get yourself into an energized and exalted state, and then vision in and let those words come to you. These are words that came to you from source. So peace beach and freedom forest and ecstatic sanctuary and blissful home. These are all names from source, right? Creator is telling you exactly what you need to know. So now all you need to do is stay aligned with it and just keep on feeding yourself that vision and keep doing the work to let yourself remain open to the signs that you receive from universe, to the people that come into your path that demonstrate, yes, you're on the right path, because these people are now crossing your path. Those signs, right? All the dragonflies and the butterflies that all of you are getting, all of those synchronicities. So I'd love to connect with you. You can email me, lola@thelittlevolcano.com. You can follow me on Instagram at Dakini9. That's DAKINI number 9, or search for me on Facebook, right? Just search for me by my name. You can find me at Lola Rephann Yoga on Facebook. And I would love to connect with anyone here that feels drawn to this work and wants to go deeper. I cannot even tell you how my life has, I mean, I think the pictures kind of show, but it's like I can barely even really, I just don't even have the words for it, because it's such a tremendous change. And yet at the same time, it feels so right. Because remember, I was 5 years old and I was like, I think I need to live somewhere that ends in the letter I. So, okay, I live in Tampa, but it's still a vowel, right? So I think vowels, still probably the vowel palm tree tropical location is probably like the vowel game is probably pretty good. So it might not be an I, but it can definitely be a vowel, right? So I knew that from long ago. So listen to those whispers that you get from source. They are creator talking to you. They are God talking to you. And same thing with your visions. All those visions that come into your mind, your fantasies, your daydreams, that is also source speaking through you. So just up-level that by making it more intentional. Do the code name game and see how that works for you. Visioning is, let's go back to the first slide because it's so good. The eye through which I see God is the same eye through which God sees me. My eye and God's eye are one eye, one seeing, one knowing, one love. So really let your visions be meaningful to you. Let your visions matter, because it is God speaking through you. All right, that's my message for today. That's my, yes, I still have my Costa Rica place. It is in progress. Even though right now Americans cannot travel to Costa Rica due to COVID, I get pictures all the time from my crew over there, and I have a huge community, a beautiful community of friends in Costa Rica that I'm in contact with regularly. So yes, I will be opening my retreat center, hopefully next year. It's going to be for a maximum of 15 people, so it's going to be very niche. And the whole point in that is, no, you don't need dual citizenship, Queen of the Fairies. You can, to own property in Costa Rica, it's actually quite simple. If anybody's interested in buying property in Costa Rica, hit me up. It's very, very simple, very easy. yeah, my retreat center hopefully will open next year. It's going to be very niche, very small, because I want it to be a space for off the beaten path stuff, right? You don't have to have a following of like a gazillion students and people. You can go there with, you know, 6 or 8 people and create a retreat or a transformational experience. I'm keeping it small on purpose so that small groups and teachers that are just emerging can do things there and have a space, a laboratory for transformational games and experiences. So that's my intention for Finca Hatha. It's called Finca Hatha. It means finca in Spanish means farm or estate, and Hatha means yoga. But Hatha is also sun and moon. And because I mentioned, right, from the deck, you can see the sun and the moon at the same time. You just go like this, sun, moon, sun, moon. It's really awesome. So it's called Finca Hatha. You're all invited to come visit as soon as it's open. All right, thank you so much, everyone. I really enjoyed spending time with you today. I apologize for my technical issues in the beginning, and but I think we made it through. And so go out there and give your vision a code name and just repeat that to yourself every day, many times a day. See it, feel it, live it, breathe it, love it, and have fun visioning. All right, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Lola. That was amazing.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for being here with me. I love you guys, and I can't wait to see your wheels and your code names in our AAA group. I'll be sending out that template for the wheel to our support team so they can send it out in the email to you. All right, thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. You're awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.